Before you crucify me in the comments, this is not a hit piece. Recently, Smash JT ran a story about Assassin's Creed Shadows being further delayed again. But as it turns out, this was a fake story that was debunked by a guy called McDizzle Gaming, who claims that he sent Smash JT fake information claiming to be a Ubisoft insider in order to expose bad journalism in the industry, especially related to Assassin's Creed Shadow. This has caused quite an uproar amongst people that dislike channels like Smash TV and others who qualifies as quote-unquote alternative gaming media. Channels that goes against the grain and bring news that traditional games media won't, which is the whole reason to why such channels exist. Most official games media and journalists have turned into dishonest access media. That are more often than not falling short on what games media is actually supposed to do: reporting on video games. Now this situation is far more complicated than it first seems on the surface. McDizzle Gaming, claiming that he's trying to call out disingenuous journalism, not being honest himself, while doing what he just did, is just that: disingenuous journalism. You see, McDizzle Gaming failed to mention several very important details in his post. None of this is reality, and I know this because I am the leaker. I did this to demonstrate the bad faith reporting in gaming news. Especially in games like Assassin's Creed Shadows, ethics in game journalism is important. Smash could have asked for proof. He could have messaged me on a different platform. He could have reached out to other sources. But he didn't. He did not verify any credentials as he indicated. The only communications is attached. Anyone can send an email to info@smashjt.com, pretend to be anyone, and it becomes news. Winky face. This has been a trend and I have more examples. In fact, his BioWare leaker reached out to me to say they were just messing with him.
Doubt. Be skeptical. Hard to believe.
Given the lack of credible evidence you are presenting, I find it highly difficult to place any trust in the more than likely fabricated alibi you have given me.
Make your bag of money, but don't expect bad reporting not to be called out. A way to avoid this is to do a better job. Attached to the post is a copy of the email that he sent to Smash JT. Hi Smash JT, I am on contract with Ubisoft Montreal as a programmer until the end of March, working mainly on Assassin's Creed Hex, which has its problems with scope creep, but I also work closely with the Shadows team. I am contacting you regarding an upcoming and unannounced delay with Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is mainly due to complaints from cultural officials around the destruction of shrines, but also to patch numerous bugs. The delay should be announced in about a week and will probably be until May. Sharing this with you as the game is in a not ready state and disrespectful to Asian culture. Although I work with some good people, the team is a mess. My name is redacted if you want to confirm, but I do not want my name to have anything to do with this, as I need to find a job after this contract is done and I would be breaking NDA. I mean, this part right here is genuine. Ubisoft are being criticized about the shrine thing right now. Even main outlets are mentioning this. And looking at the comments of this post, way too many people are way too happy about that McDizzle managed to do this. Certain YouTubers included, when they should be the exact opposite, especially said YouTuber. The game was rigged to begin with. Ethics in games journalism, and in fact all forms of journalism, is very important. And it is extremely important that channels like Smash JT and others like him are careful and cautious about what they report on, which he and many others in my eyes are. Though not all of them. There are some channels that I have seen. I won't mention any names, where I question the legitimacy of what they are reporting on. And it would be good if all channels, myself included, were to be a little bit more careful. It doesn't look good if anyone can send an email claiming to be someone and make things up that will then be reported about the next day as news, which is exactly what McDizzle did. He says that anybody can send information to smashjt.com and pretend to be anyone claiming anything, and that it then becomes news. This though is not what actually happened. You see, McDizzle failed to mention that he sent Smash a fabricated email with false information using real credentials which he took from somewhere else. The statement that he made is incredibly disingenuous. It implies that the only thing anyone has to do is to just send a made-up email with fake information and half-decent lies, and Smash and others will believe in it without asking any further questions or no additional checking, and then run it as news. But he actually took the time to look up a Ubisoft employee and used his name and information to create a lie which Smash actually did check before reporting on it. McDizzle mentioned in his post that Smash could have messaged him on a different platform and asked for proof or potentially reach out to other sources. The only thing that is true about that is that JT could have reached out to another contact or insider first to confirm it. Contacting the leaker on another platform is only a thing that you do if you suspect that someone is trying to fool you. If it is a random fucking Friday afternoon and someone sends you an email with what seems to be credible information that matches with information that you have already seen elsewhere, which you can check on Smash's own channel, where he has already addressed the situation and acknowledged that he needs to do better, and also properly explains that this isn't really a gotcha. I mean, it isn't even remotely comparable to the shit show of agenda-driven lies and actual fraudulent information that the so-called real gaming news media engages in. Anyway, if you don't suspect that someone is maliciously trying to trick you into running false information, then there is no reason to treat your leaks as hostile and try to dig deeper with them. That is a surefire way to make leakers to never want to leak anything to you again, or at all for that matter. And from now on, Smash and other channels are probably going to potentially do this at some point, in a case where the leaker wants to keep a certain level of, in a lack of other words, vagueness to protect themselves. Until something like this happens to you, there's no reason to be overly suspicious. And there's also the fact that if Smash was suspicious for one reason or another and asked for proof, there would be nothing stopping McDizzle from manufacturing it. If someone is willing to go as far as McDizzle did and research a random Ubisoft employee with a public LinkedIn profile and a blog and use their information to make a fake email to their name to lend credence to their deception, which worked because Smash JT did double check the information and he was there. He didn't just run with it, he actually checked and he was there. Then, they are beyond a doubt willing to Photoshop whatever they need to support their claim. And at that point, it's just a matter of endlessly moving goalposts. Sure, JT could have asked for a document that McDizzle works at Ubisoft. Well, let's just put together a Photoshop document or something. JT could have asked for proof of employment or employee identification. No problem. With today's technology, even someone with mediocre skills could put something together using photos with the real person that McDizzle posed as to give Smash if he asked for it. And while you should always check, this argument wouldn't really hold up unless JT goes super autistic and demands some kind of video evidence, and even without that, we are way off the narrative that this McDizzle guy created which is a narrative that states that Smash JT did not check anything and this is something that anyone can just do. Which, yeah, sure, not everyone is completely unhinged. But anyone can look up information on a random game development employee online and use their information to create a fake email, or hell, even their own blog or LinkedIn if they wanted to. Which is something that I imagine this McDizzle to be willing to do. And that's the point. Anyone that wants to deceive these guys and are willing to put in the time and effort into creating a good fake narrative will be able to do so, because you can fake almost anything with the right information, technology, and just enough writing skills.
Why are you putting so much emphasis on the age?
It is obviously not going to work every time, as Smash has stated before. There are plenty of stories coming his way that he doesn't report on because he doesn't believe in them. But every now and then, something like this can happen, especially if someone is unhinged enough to try it. Now, this doesn't mean that we shouldn't care about journalistic integrity. Smash and other channels, again, myself included, should take this as a lesson and be a bit more careful. But no matter how cautious you are, there will always be scenarios where you are at risk of being taken on a ride by people who are dedicated enough to spend enough time and resources trying to orchestrate something like this. The only thing, really, that you can't fake that easily is contacting another source within the same studio, which is the only thing that I can think of that it is reasonable to criticize, as it is a solid way of validating information, even though it is not necessarily 100% foolproof, as some sources may want to lay low after sharing their stories, or might not even be working in the same department or have the same information. Also, not everyone has multiple sources in a studio, and asking other channels for contact information to get in contact with their sources when you shouldn't give out any kind of source information to anyone can be a little bit difficult. But if more and more people are starting to do what this guy did, that is exactly what they are going to have to do. I hope that Smash and also other channels takes this troll job as an opportunity to grow and become even better at what they do. In reality, the only ones that are mad about this are the people that constantly cope and seeds about the existence of these channels due to them being the bane of their existence. Some examples being Unifade Walker and the Reddit mods of the now old Lords of the Fallen subreddit, because these channels exposes what's wrong with the gaming industry and they can't handle that. Now, Smash made a video about this, link in the description, where he responds to the situation and in my eyes owns up to it. He also shows how he looked up the guy and that he seemed legit, and how the information was actually related to a few other leads that he was already following up on, some of which has already been released, like the recent debacle regarding the temple destruction in Assassin's Creed Shadows. He has admitted his mistake, which is a mature move from him. There seems to be a narrative that these people and people like McDizzle are trying to spin. A narrative that is painting Smash JT and other channels like Endymion TV, Vara Dark, Ryan Kinnell, Dr. Disasters as channels that believes and report on any garbage that is sent their way. Now, if this is true, which I do not think it is, that these are channels built on made up lies, I would be very interested in evidence of that, which I doubt exists. And if we were to look at the track records of these channels, their track record, as far as I know, have been pretty damn good. And whenever they make mistakes or are wrong, they correct the information and takes the L, which is far more than what traditional games media is doing. McDizzle Gaming might have successfully fooled Smash JT, thinking that he did something, but this is not a good thing. It only creates more diversion and has a negative impact on the whole industry. From here on out, it will be much more difficult for people actually working at these companies to reach out when something is wrong, or to expose something that when a company is doing something wrong. For example, toxic positivity at Firewalker Studios, or Matt Hansen apparently being a tyrant at Obsidian Studios. And McDizzle Gaming creating a false narrative based on lies just to get someone, claiming to be calling out disingenuous journalism. He himself is technically engaging in disingenuous journalism. Anyway, until next time.